My name is Scott Grant, and I'm a professional photographer from Newfoundland in Canada. And as you can see, we're still pretty well in the grips of winter. We did have a big thaw the other day. That's why so much water's running over the falls here. But our winters are pretty long. They're like 5 months long, and you spend a lot of time outdoors shooting in the cold. The older you get, the harder it is on your hands. And I've been having some issues the last few years, so one thing that's become pretty important to me is to be able to wear gloves while I'm shooting and to be able to keep those gloves on my hand. So recently I acquired the new NiSi V6 filter system. As you can see, I've got the Pouch Plus bag connected to the tripod. The adapter's already screwed onto the lens via a 72mm adapter. And what I want to show you is exactly how easy it is to attach this thing. Now I got to do this one hand because I'm filming with the other hand, so this is going to make things a little more difficult than normal, but it should give a good demonstration of how you can keep your gloves on. So check it out. So I've got it screwed on. Sorry, I pulled out the little lever which allows it to connect to the adapter. And what I'll do now is lock it using the new lock they've added to the system. And that'll give me a little more security. But also it's nice for your graduated neutral density filter, so when you tip them off on that angle that you want, you can lock it in place and you don't have to worry about bumping it or anything like that. So another cool thing is that I use polarizers a lot. I'm not using one here right now, I'll admit that, but I was a little apprehensive about how this thing was going to work. Again, with my gloves on, I've got to be able to use that finger to twist a little dial. I don't know if you can see it in there. It's right there. And that connects via a little gear system to the polarizer. And that's what you have to use to rotate it. Now the smaller M75 system they have, that's the 75mm filters. That little dial is actually raised above the edge of the filter tray. So it's real simple to get at. It's amazing how easy it is. You just do, and you can rotate that thing as easy as pie. Gloves on, you can do that with mucklucks on your hand or something. But I was a little bit apprehensive about this one because it's not. It's kind of down under the filter tray. So I wrote a review for this, and I even had it pre-written in my notes. Yeah, this is not going to be a very good sort of thing. But then I got to use it, and I was quite surprised. Check it out. See, there's a little dial. That's my finger, glove finger, and there's even this the kind of not so grippy leather on it. It's not as grippy as the rest of the material on the gloves, but just watch, just check it out. I don't know if you can see that moving there, but it's easy as pie. I can even hear the little gear spinning around. It's so simple. And even in cold weather, minus 10 degrees Celsius, it doesn't matter. It's still super duper easy to rotate, which is fantastic. So anyway, what I'm trying to do here today, I'm just trying to knock the ambient light down a little bit and just slow the shutter speed to get a nice effect on the waterfall behind us. So what I'll do is I'll add in a 6-stop neutral density filter. Again, one-handed. So I'll show you here in a second. Let me get it in place. You got to be careful when you're sliding this thing in. There's one thing that I noticed with the M75 system is that it can slip out of track about halfway through, and that ruined a couple of pictures for me when I was originally testing it. And since then I've started paying attention to the filter, how it slides in as it's going in, and I haven't had any trouble since. If you watch it, it's no trouble to keep it in track. It's when you're not paying attention that you have issues, so just pay attention to what you're doing and you won't have trouble. Hey, let me show you. I don't know if you can see, so I have one in here already, and then you can add 2 more on top of that. And you can see the foam in the back here, and this keeps out any stray light that might enter behind the filter. It's a really nice touch. So if you add a second neutral density, which you can, stack it right in on top, and then you can add your graduated neutral density in front. And what's incredible is that again, the polarizer's not in here, but quite often I would have it in, probably 60 to 70% of the time. I don't use it so much with that super wide angle, but when it is in there, you can add 3 filters on top of that, and there's still no vignetting. And the image quality is fantastic. I don't know, I've used some filter systems in the past, and they were usually a letdown. You get color casts that can't be corrected, vignetting, a bunch of issues, but man, I've stacked a ton of filters on top of each other, and you can barely notice they're there. I mean, you might get a slight little knock in image quality, but let's be realistic. 4 filters stacked on top of each other, and things still look great? I don't know. This thing has got my seal of approval, I got to say. I'm impressed. Everything I've tried from them so far has been fantastic. Anyway, wish you all the best. Happy shooting, and hope it's spring somewhere wherever you are. Cheers.